Good morning, children. So 45 members are present. So I was waiting for some more members to join. I think this is the highest number for today, 45. Okay. So in the last class, we have studied about the transportation in plants. About the transportation in plants, we have studied about the vascular bundle and how the xylem tissue transports the water in the plant body. Already we have discussed that. In the xylem tissue, 4 type of different cells will be there, especially tracheids and vessels. They help in the transportation of water. See, usually the water is present in the soil which is mixed with the minerals. That is absorbed by the root by root pressure because of pressure difference. The concentration difference in the soil and in the tissue makes the movement of the water molecules from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. Similarly, in the plant body, the tracheids are arranged like a tube, forming a long tube which reaches the leaves. So, because of this concentration difference in each cell, the movement will happen. This is called as passive movement, passive transportation, because here the plant is not investing any energy over here. That is, this happens by a transpiration pull and root pressure. So, a physical force is involved in this so that the plant absorbs the water and minerals for the photosynthesis. So, as you know that already, the leaves are the site of photosynthesis. So, during the photosynthesis, glucose is prepared. The produced glucose has to be carried to the different parts of the plant body. It may be leaves, it may be roots, it may be stem, it may be fruit, it may be buds, it may be flower, everything. It may be fruit finally. So all they need energy. Root also need energy. That energy and proteins they need. So they need carbohydrate. All that is carried. That is carried by the help of a tissue called as phloem tissue. So phloem tissue, you know already. Last year we have learned about the complex permanent tissue. One of the complex permanent tissue is phloem tissue. Phloem tissue consists of the sieve tubes, sieve plate, companion cells, all that. Here in the phloem, the sieve tubes are arranged like a chain, one by one. So forming a long tubular structure to transport the food. So phloem is a tissue which helps in the transportation of prepared food in the leaves. So whatever the leaves prepares the food in the form of glucose, that is carried, carbohydrate, that is carried to the different parts by the phloem, that especially the sieve tubes. So for every part, this is sieve tube is there. Means in higher plants, if you take, they are called as tracheophytes, which have vascular bundle. All these transport by help of phloem tissue. So we'll see that. So phloem tissue. So phloem tissue. See. So here sieve tubes are there. Sieve tubes are very necessary, and sieve plates are there. These are the two cells which will help in the mainly the transportation, and companion cells are there which will help the transportation of food. So as you know that, so in the leaves the food is prepared. So here cells are there. Like this. So this is stem. You take that. This is stem. Here also different cells are there. tissues are there. So this is sieve tubes. So I told you already, in between sieve tubes there is sieve plates. Sieve plates. This is sieve tube, sieve tube, and sieve plates. These are the common structures which are present in the phloem tissue. Already we have learned this. So here, take here in the sieve plates, there are holes which help in the transportation of food. So already this we know. So the sieve tubes I have drawn here. So in between. So here, this is sieve tube means adjacent cells are there. As you know that photosynthesis is done. Photosynthesis is done. Photosynthesis. You know already what is photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide plus water reacts in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, it produces C6, H12O6, that is nothing but glucose, and plus oxygen is released during this reaction. This is photosynthesis. You already know it. So after the photosynthesis, glucose is prepared. That glucose has to transport it. So transported to every parts of the plant body, even to the roots also, even to the top of the plant, aerial part of the plant. That may be fruit if you take. So fruits also has to be sent. So how it is transported? The transportation of glucose or carbohydrate produced by the leaves to all the different parts of the plant body is called translocation. Transportation of glucose in the plant body is called as translocation. We call it as translocation. So, or conduction of food, we call it as simply. So, mainly the sieve tubes help in the conduction. Sieve tubes are in higher plants if you take. I told you, tracheophytes. Tracheophytes are the plants which has xylem and phloem to transportation, for the transportation. So, this is sieve tubes are arranged like this. Every part of the plant, the sieve tubes are there, which have companion cells. Adjacent to this, there are xylem also and phloem also. If you take xylem also, they are present. So water conducting and food conducting tissue are present in every tissue of the plant body. So what happens? The food is prepared, glucose is prepared. The glucose has to be transported to every part. So yesterday I told you there is a two type of transportation. Active transportation, and also there is a passive transportation. Passive transportation happens by physical force like transpiration, pull, like that. But active transportation happens by investing the energy. Plant will invest some energy. It involves ATP. It provides ATP. So that type of transportation is called active transportation. Active transportation means it involves energy. Energy has to be spent. You have to spend the energy and the movement will happen. Similarly here, you know that glucose is present over here in the cells. If you do the photosynthesis, as you know that vascular bundle do not do the photosynthesis. So leaves, mainly the leaves, the cells called as parenchyma cells. They produce the glucose. Now the glucose is filled over here. So here and here, if you take so transportation has to be done from the cells which produce the glucose to the phloem. Here the plant will invest some ATP. ATP means energy pockets. So energy it invest and the glucose will be transferred to the phloem tissue by active transportation. Listen. See, you know that plant, water transportation happens usually from where? From soil to leaves, aerial parts of the plant. But has to be food has to be transported every parts of the plant way, downwards, upwards. That's why that active transportation happens here. Without active transportation, the transportation, translocation is not fulfilled. Try to understand. So this happens. Now, see, when it transfers here, what happens is, here, the glucose will be more. Concentration of glucose will be more here. What happens during that time? So water. So here the salt concentration is more now. So what happens is, the water present in the xylem enters this cell. So enter this phloem tissue. Then what happens? The osmotic pressure increases. Osmotic pressure increases. When osmotic pressure increases, so the water entered. So it became a highly concentrated area now. So it becomes a region of higher concentration. So from there it moves to the next cell because it has a lower concentration. Similarly, it moves to the next cell. You think that somewhere here there is a low concentration cell. The food movement will happen from higher concentration to lower concentration, then higher concentration to lower concentration, like this. So here also see, downward movement and upward movement happens by the difference in the concentration of the salts and glucose present in plant body. Somewhere here, there is a low concentration area. Here there is the food molecule. Food molecule is less over here. Here it is more. So at the first time, the active transportation happens. After that, that will be passive. Cell to cell movement will happen. So this is how it is transported. So here, I hope you are getting my point. Because of concentration difference, then it starts. Means initially it is active transportation. After that, it becomes passive transportation. So that is the difference between the active transportation and passive transportation. See, transportation of water and minerals happens by transpiration pull. Similarly, that is called as passive transportation. But in case of transportation of food, that is translocation, is done by active transportation first, then followed by the passive transportation. This is how actually the plant transports the food to various part of the tissues. So all the tissues get the food by this process. So in page number 75 of your textbook, it is given how the food is transported in the plant body. Go through that. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. Say, translocation in phloem is achieved by utilization of energy. Material like sucrose is transferred to phloem tissue using energy from ATP. This increases the osmotic pressure of the tissue, causing the water to come inside. When the water comes inside, what happens? The pressure increases over there. So by that, the cell-to-cell transportation starts. Say this pressure moves the material phloem to tissue which have less pressure. So this is here is the less pressure area. This is the high pressure area. So it moves from leaves to the other parts where there is a less pressure. This is how actually the food is transported in the plant body by the help of phloem. This process, complete process, is called as conduction of food, or we call it as translocation of food. Translocation, simply we can call it as translocation. So go through that. So if you have any doubt, ask them. So understood? If you understood, raise your hand. Say. Yeah, okay. Then can I move to the next concept of the lesson? So as far as the reduced syllabus, the next part of the lesson is excretion. It is excretion. That we will see. Excretion we will see. Excretion. So excretion means what? Removal of nitrogenous waste from body is called excretion. It's called excretion. Call it as excretion. Call it as excretion. So what do you mean by nitrogenous waste? Nitrogenous waste. So excretion means what? It is a removal of waste material from the plant body. Sorry, from a body. If you take animal body. So from a body. So removal of nitrogenous waste from the body is called as excretion. Nitrogenous waste means what? As you know that we take food. So food contains protein, carbohydrates, fat. Many other minerals are there. So sometimes we take excess food. If you take carbohydrate, after the digestion, the carbohydrate get converted into glucose and it is stored in the body in the form of glycogen. Similarly, fat also is stored in the body. But in case of protein, we consume a lot of protein. So this protein cannot be stored in the body because it becomes an adverse effect. Means it is an adverse effect. When proteins are stored in the body, it will affect your body itself. That's why the protein is never stored in the body. After the utilization of the protein by the body, the protein is converted into other form and it is thrown out of the body. It is removed out of the body. That waste is nothing but the protein waste, which is protein waste, that is called nitrogenous waste. Actually, proteins, the excess protein reacts with carbon dioxide to form urea. This is nitrogenous waste. Urea is a nitrogenous waste. In case of some animals like fishes, ammonia is a nitrogenous waste. In case of birds, uric acid is a nitrogenous waste. In case of mammals, urea is a nitrogenous waste. So urea is rich in urea is a nitrogenous waste which is very helpful for the plant. If you take, you may be heard about fertilizers, urea, potash, and all. So urea means what? It contains nitrogenous waste. That's urea. Urea is nothing but it is a protein, excess protein, and the carbon dioxide reacts. This happens in the liver actually. the liver, this process happens, urea. From there, this material is removed by the body by the help of excretory system. Excretory system. Excretory system. I hope you are getting my point. So, removal of nitrogenous waste from the body is called as excretion. Where this nitrogenous waste is produced, actually excess protein which is present in the body is converted into urea by reacting with carbon dioxide. That urea is nothing but nitrogenous waste. This nitrogenous waste is removed in the form of urine. Is removed in the form of urine by a system present in the body, that is excretory system. Excretory system means what? It is a group of organ which help in excretion. It helps in excretion. It's a group. What is the excretory system? So it is a group of organ which helps in the excretion. Excretion is called as excretory system. So excretory system consists of. So I'll draw the picture of the excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, and this kidney is attached to the tubes a tube called as ureter, and this ureter is joined to the urinary bladder, and a small opening present in the urinary bladder is called as urethra. Means excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. So this is about the parts of the excretory system. Main parts. Okay. So main parts of the excretory system. So then an artery enters both the kidney. So main artery enters branches, and one branch will come to the one kidney, and another branch enters the other kidney. And similarly, there is a veins also. Veins also enters. So veins also enters here. So this is artery. This is veins. So arteries provides the oxygen to all the tissues present in the excretory system. Similarly, veins will absorb or carry all the waste produced by the kidney to the heart for the purification. So every parts will have this artery and veins. If you take every parts of the body will have, every tissues of the body will have this structure. So this is the structure. So human excretory system is situated in the abdomen cavity. This is abdomen cavity, back of abdomen cavity. So here it is present, back of the abdomen cavity. Back of the abdomen cavity it is located. So kidneys are brown, reddish brown in color, and it is bean shaped. Bean shaped. If you take it, bean shaped it is. Bean. So you know that bean shaped it is. So actually the kidney has two parts. This is called as cortex part, and this is called medulla part. So whatever the urea is produced in the liver, it is carried to the excretory system. From that, the urea is removed in the form of urine. In the form of urine, it is thrown outside the body. So whatever the kidney produce the urine, that is carried to the urinary bladder by the help of tube-like structures called ureters. Ureters are the tube-like structures which will connect the kidney to the urinary bladder. It connects the urinary bladder. It connects. So then here if we take, this is a pouch-like structure. Which stores, urinary bladder is a pouch-like structure which stores the urine for the urine temporarily is stored here. Then by the help of small opening called as urethra, this urethra is connected to the reproductive system. Urethra is connected to the reproductive system, and from there it is removed by the help of the organs present in the human reproductive system. Urethra is the last part which will remove the urine. Here, one muscle will be there. Sphincter muscles will be there. Sphincter muscles will be there. These muscles actually, what they do is, they actually control the flow of the urine. These muscles. So when this urine bladder is full, the sphincter muscles will open and the urine is removed from the body. This is how actually, these are the actual parts of the excretory system. I hope you got an idea of the what is nitrogenous waste, what is the excretory system, and what are the different parts of the excretory system. So next part of the video we are going to learn about the formation of urine. Understood? So we'll stop it now. So I'll send one more link. Join with that link. Thank you.